Okay, and we're live. Well, thanks, Phil Auger, for coming on the podcast. Great to have you on today. How are you
Is
doing?
it important that we use radio voices throughout the podcast? Because I noticed a distinct change in your voice.
Cheers.
Just a start.
The podcast, as always, is brought to you by
Buck Mason.
Great shirts, Auger. We'll send you one after the podcast.
Very comfortable.
What? How Land's End doesn't count?
Land's End, new sponsor to the podcast.
By the way, Land's End might survive COVID. Everybody else gone. Now we shut down.
Land's End was built for COVID. We won
until Sears fucked them up. That was the worst.
Perfect time of talking about, apparel. Tell us about your experience with LL Bean. What happened there with the whole return policy?
Oh, it's very interesting that you bring that up because just last week I tested their return policy. And while I was over the 1 year, all that they've done is bring in, what would you call it, discretion.
Okay.
So whereas it used to be abused by people like yourself who would bring in a backpack, say 5 years after they've used it
and
said,
25 trips later.
Exactly.
What, 10 Burning Mans later?
And now they just switched it to no questions asked within a year. Yeah. Over a year, it's up to manager discretion.
And this was a product that had never been down, never raced?
The crotch of these jeans blew out not from a racing incident.
Wow, okay.
Then they were repaired once and blew out again beyond the repair. So it was like clearly weak material, couldn't hold the jump. So went in, manager checked all the circumstances and said, that's fine. You can return.
When you do that, do they look at your frequent buyer card and they're like, he's coming back anyways, we're okay giving him these jeans?
It's a good question. I was curious because that was the trump card I was going to drop if they gave me a hard time, because I don't have it on me, but I use the LL Bean credit card and I use my points regularly. I had just dropped $300 at LL Bean the week before. So, but I'd forgotten to bring my return.
Yeah, be careful.
So I imagine that's part of the discretion.
Be careful showing your credit card because some of our viewers, they may see that.
They may see it, take it, and go run to LL Bean.
All of a sudden, he'll get a lot of
I was going to cover the number.
Oh.
But I don't have it.
Now, when is the last time you stepped into an LL Bean?
Was that for... Yes, thank you.
Gully, when was the last time?
Me?
Yeah.
Many years. But Auger, I almost met Auger at the annual holiday party they have, the Summer Fest, the Watermelon Fest?
That's correct.
But I didn't make it down.
I should see if that's on again this year.
Yeah. I bet it is. It's great company.
I'll be in New Hampshire this weekend. Though per your rules, I can't say my real motivation for going. So it will just be a getaway.
Yes. Okay, good. Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for being sensitive to
We didn't want to delete the clip.
Exactly.
Sensitive to the current environment we're going to be in forever. Okay. Are you spending enough
until November 4th?
I was talking to Sam this weekend. We were wondering, I forget where we were. Oh, we were doing that walk, Sam.
Yeah, that really beautiful walk in Palm Springs in the sun at 2 p.m.
I got a flat tire, and Daniela's car doesn't have a spare because Teslas don't have spare. So if you're buying a Tesla, you won't have a spare. And the guy was like,
maybe we should reach out to Elon, add one.
Yeah, I will. The guy's like, well, don't put a plug in there, just let's put a patch in it because it'll be good as new. It's a nice tire. And I was like, okay. And so I came back and he's like, you wouldn't believe what was in there. And he pulls it out and it's like, I think it's a Sawzall bit.
It's like the end of the Sawzall bit.
It's like
a bit.
And he's like, see this little item here? You could run over this 1,000 times. Never get
right. It has to be at the right,
that one time. So I was like, okay, now I feel good about myself. But then we went to pick up the car and the guy wasn't ready. So Sam, Dion, and I walked about 1.3 miles through Palm Springs. And it was 112.
No shade. And this is the precipice. This is how it started. We're at the house. Phil goes, hey, why don't we go drop off the car and
No,
get a
pick
beer?
up the car? Oh, drop off the car, yeah.
Nope, drop it off and get a beer.
Yeah.
And we're like, that would be great. It sounds like a great idea.
Yes.
So, one, none of us had Googled where this tire shop was. It's in a industrial spot.
Yeah.
Nothing
I knew
around.
it was. I'd already been there.
Yeah, you obviously didn't do a very good job scouting.
I thought it was a nice walk.
So we start walking. It is so hot, people's feet are burning.
Yeah.
Scully's neck is on fire because he's allergic to the sun.
Yeah.
We end up making it to Rite Aid.
Yeah, Rite Aid. Remember that place?
Grocery outlet.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had to Uber home.
Yeah, we had then Uber home. So that was a successful trip. But what we were talking about there is, excavators. Are you spending enough time on excavators right now, do you think? Is it possible for you to get?
I'm not.
Okay.
Everything is in stages. And right now I have I'm moving dirt
Yeah.
in a sensitive area, which is too small for the excavator. So it's involving hand shovels and the girls pulling a trailer with the Cub Cadet.
Okay. So
Wait, stop there.
You've got the whole family doing it.
That's what I want to know. Do you have the whole family doing this?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The girls run the
Okay.
smaller equipment.
Yes.
Sometimes they have to do some stuff on the bigger equipment. Sophia can drive the backhoe, and she does do that. Not the excavator yet, but she'll get there.
Okay.
She's been up in the boom truck as well. Anyway, until I can offload.
Are the stages like you need to do this, or is it more like this is the red area, I got to get this done, and over here at this stage is a green area, and I'm okay, I've gotten this work's less important?
No, it's like right now there's a load of good soil in the dump truck.
Yes.
And until I'm able to dump that and then can start loading other material, I won't be using the excavator again, right?
Where are you putting the good soil?
The side yard is being expanded, but also then onto a wall. And that's where the wall itself couldn't support the excavator or the backhoe. So that's where all of a sudden we're down to smaller scale equipment.
So you're building a wall.
No, the wall's been there. I just never liked how the slope, it was too sloped down to it. So now I'm doing the wall will have, let's say, mulch area and then a step up. So I would need to fill in to make that level.
And how's that with drainage?
It's so wicked short that drainage is an issue. It's 3 feet of bricks, then it'll be 5 feet of grass, and then 2 feet to the wall. Because I put in a big bird feeder.
What excavator are you running right now?
Hitachi EX100.
Okay.
It's a 1992. It's a little old.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just pulling that up right now. What color is it? Orange or yellow?
Orange. Orange with a gray cab. It says Landy on the side. I mean, I could show you actual pictures, I imagine.
This looks like a lot of fun. Is there a reason for the Hitachi over others, or is this more of a, you found it, got it?
Found it and got it.
Okay.
And had no particular reason to have excessive brand loyalty for excavators, because, so to back up, my brand loyalty on red tractors dates to my father used to sell those. And so the farm that I grew up working at, where Scully's father worked and Scully would fuck around and crash scooters at.
It was late 70s, before Sam was born. Auger was into the international harvester.
First crash on a farm for Phil on a motorcycle.
Yeah, exactly. First two-wheeled motorized crash. I'm pretty certain.
They're dangerous. I don't drive them anymore.
Electric?
No, 50s DC.
Yeah, electric. They're a little bit safer.
Could be.
So you think?
Anyway, so that's red loyalty. Then as far as yellow loyalty, international, which became International Huck briefly, then Dresser,
Yeah.
and then eventually Komatsu bought them. For a long time, they didn't have excavators. so it was not an issue, no conflict. And
Yeah.
so the Hitachi I came to find, and I love it. What's funny about it is I hate John Deere tractors, but basically John Deere excavators are Hitachis. John Deere just sells Hitachi excavators.
OEM. So they outsource them and just put a sticker on it.
That's it.
Holy cow.
That's a fun fact.
And are the
Yeah.
companies,
So my key has a John Deere logo on it because I had to get a replacement key.
are the companies aware of this loyalty you have for these brands? Like, are they, do they understand?
Hashtag them.
I don't know if Skidoo has watched my video on brand loyalty.
Should we just play that for Sam? Has he ever seen that?
He probably hasn't. We probably could.
This is a good video. It's a new video, right? It's a newer video quality.
It's a little dated. It's
Euro
aesthetic, but to me, I would call that retro.
Classic, vintage.
Yeah.
Vintage.
The thing is, if I share the screen like you guys were doing, would it actually have audio?
Yeah, that's everything. I think sound and video.
No shit. That's cool. I just gotta.
Auger's been using Zoom for 6 months straight. Still doesn't know how it works.
Yeah.
Because actually, I was using Blue Jeans.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's a new company.
Zoom had a security flaw early on.
They really didn't. They
did it. My company pulled it, and so I was not allowed to use it.
I can tell you, it was not Zoom having a security flaw. It was users who had where you could forward the links without anybody having passwords.
Password. Yeah.
So like I could have passed if you don't have it
or no
properly. Yeah, you could literally. I could send that link to 100 people from Phil.
Gotcha. All right, give me 1 second. I gotta log in. Why is it not?
That would be crazy, huh? If they just came on here and sabotaged the podcast.
What if we were on here and it was just like 2 girls, 1 cup on the 4th screen, and we couldn't figure it out, and then you gave them host privileges.
Can I give Auger host privileges right now?
No.
Please don't, because it won't even let me log into my fucking YouTube.
Ooh.
So the excavator passion is connected to, just liking machines, but is there something specific about the excavator that you like more than other vehicles?
So Scott, do you remember Scott Wiles?
I think so, yeah.
Scott Wiles Sr. Scott Wiles Sr. was the number 2 mechanic at Cook's Equipment behind Billy Beaumont. And he said, greatest invention, JCB, British company, greatest invention ever was the back until the excavator. So what's the difference between operating a backhoe and an excavator? What's the number one difference going?
The front loader?
No, just for digging. What's the number one difference?
That you have to put down the legs for the backhoe?
No, that's
you have to turn around.
When you're sitting there operating a backhoe,
yes, you can't move it.
You're fixed.
You can't.
The backhoe goes like this, so
yeah.
You can't see shit when you're like it's not the same. Yeah. What happens when you're in an excavator? You're always at the same reference to the stick.
See that, Sam?
Fucking amazing.
It looks like, yeah.
Exactly. That is the main thing.
Do you think Auger goes on the dance floor and starts doing that move? And he's like, "It's the excavator."
Have you ever done it?
That is.
Excellent. I think that's what we should do.
That's the best move.
When we can finally dance, you should pull that out.
No. Dancing got banned.
It's totally
before TikTok is banned. You should do a TikTok video of the excavator.
I can't believe TikTok's getting banned. Feel bad for those guys.
Yeah, what's the issue with that?
Chinese own it and probably watch the data.
Because U.S. companies don't do that, like Facebook, Instagram. It's just like, I don't know. We could name more.
Yeah. The other day on the waiver, Tesla was like, if you want to give us access to your information, the car's going to be great. If you don't want to, that's fine. So I was like, what? I want the car to be great. Here you go. Yes. You can have all my data.
Yeah. They're like, to access pricing, can we have access to all of your contacts?
Any luck, Augur?
This is like horrendous. I feel like I've never used a computer before.
Well, when you're spending 75% of your time worried about fixing a hole next to a brick wall, an excavator, moving good dirt and bad dirt, you're not really on the computer much.
Are you happier when the job is done or when you're just starting her up in the morning and beginning the whole process?
When the job is done.
Really?
I don't have the before picture, but like, for example, tonight, what I did after work, and it's important that I emphasize after work, in case anyone from Aspen watches this.
Yeah.
This,
this podcast.
this tree
6 p.m. Yes.
had limbs all the way down to the roof of the house.
Okay.
So I de-limbed the bottom 2/3.
Like the Lorax.
And I just love looking at shit like that.
So when you get up in the morning and you have your cup of Folgers and you're about ready to get up in the boom with a tree cutter, you've got an image of where you want it to be at the end of the day.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
You set a goal out there, Phil, and you make it happen.
When do you decide I'm going to have this piece of equipment for the rest of my life?
Well, see, that's an interesting point. Will I have it the rest of my life? Or once I've trimmed all the trees, will I say that's a good stopping point, time to sell it?
How many trees do you have?
30 acres, pretty densely wooded.
What is the timing?
If you do a tree a week, you might have this for the rest of your life.
I may well have it the rest of my life.
Okay.
Should we set up a guys camp weekend at Augur's house?
That's 100%.
We should.
I will tell you, I tried to do it one time before. And, say for instance, Sam, he's a great guy. He's like, hey, Phil, it's important to me that I start this fire. Can I start this fire? Augur would probably let you start the fire. But at some point you'd screw it up. He'd have to come in, move the logs around. He would burn himself, not say anything, and then be like, now that's better. So it'd be kind of like we would get there and Augur would be like, oh, well, we can't take out the snowmobiles. There's no tow hitch.
No, that's an unfair comment. The earlier comment was very fair, but that last one.
Now, when you're buying this equipment,
yes,
excavator, boom, are you buying on Craigslist or are you buying from an actual shop?
So I'm a Craigslist diehard from the early days. The excavator and backhoe I bought as a package deal out of, what was the name of the town? Do you remember Paul? What was Paul's last name?
Hoskins.
No, that was Bob Hoskins, Donnie Northrup, and Paul. Began with a B.
What?
Began with a B.
Barrett.
Yeah, Paul Barrett. Or Barnett.
Barnett. Yeah.
Barnett. So Paul Barnett, wherever the hell he was from most recently before Coed, that same town is where I went and I looked at this excavator and this backhoe. Then I came back with Scotty Wiles because they could haul it out. And the guy's like, why didn't you tell me you knew Paul Barnett? Oh, Oxford, Connecticut.
You would have got a good deal if you knew him.
Oh, fucking Barnett was no good deal.
But
the guy was
more.
real. The guy was very standoffish when I first went to look at the shit because I figured out where it was and just pulled up. Like I didn't prearrange the meeting or whatever, and he was all agitated about that. I was like, I didn't want to make a big deal because, like, if the stuff looked like shit, I was not going to.
Could it also been your Land's End Blue Blazer?
No, I just
from the office straight to looking at it.
When I go,
wait, why did he not?
I'll be right.
Why did he not tell you where it was? He was trying to sell the thing.
No, he wanted an appointment.
Oh, we want an appointment. Hey, look at the chair that Augur's sitting in versus the one in the background.
The one in the background's like from Thomas Jefferson's house on a tour.
Yeah.
With that, and then his looks like it's a fold-out chair from Target.
I know. Yeah. His is like you have the amazing thing in front, and then behind that, it's like his is like North Korea, the wall. Panmunjom.
He's got a lot going on in that room. He's got a rolling desk. I've never seen a rolling desk before.
Yeah, and some of the windows are closed. Some of the windows are open.
Do you think that's where, when he gets up in the morning, he has his Folgers and just looks outside and he's like, I'm taking that tree down?
That's the kids' work area. Kids are at home. That's what it is.
This is a mess. That's Frankie's desk.
Yeah.
If I'm going shopping for equipment, I'm probably wearing this.
Yes.
Which they went out of business in 1990, so the shirt is not that new.
Why'd they go out of business?
I'm wearing this.
That's a fun shirt.
Nice. Oh, this is gonna be a good one.
Or I'm wearing this. So the beauty of this one is that's a TD25, which is a fucking cherry machine. Yeah. And then do you remember this truck, Scully? It would have been gold colored when you knew.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a great truck.
They still use that same fucking truck. This is a 1984 International utility body. That's what they use on a daily basis.
How many miles or hours does that have on it?
Oh, it's got a totally brand new motor and all that, but like they keep that thing going.
You know what we should do? Should we introduce them to Doug? Because Doug knows a company that'll make it electric.
Hey, listen. Hey, Auger. When you're talking to Scotty Wiles,
yeah,
I want you to say, I was talking to some guy in LA on a podcast and he thought it'd be a good idea.
Yes.
And I just want to hear what his reaction is.
You got it.
He'd be like, what?
Good call.
Those fucking guys in LA.
To where when you go to buy stuff that you've seen online, do you feel like it gives you an advantage?
I just want everyone to be comfortable. So I understand where Sam was coming from. Like if I'm in a fucking collared shirt and stuff, then maybe not. They might feel comfortable in a different way. Like, oh, I can take advantage of this guy. Whatever.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, I can take advantage of him because of his construction equipment apparel.
Yep.
And are those shirts that you showed us all Land's End?
No, none of those are Land's End. And then the other one I was going to show is from your R1 era.
Wow. Does Doug get one of those?
Well, now they're all BMW, so he's totally on the inside.
Can we bring one? I need to bring one more thing up. At Auger's Closet, all shirts hung up. I know one other person that hangs T-shirts.
Yeah.
That we all know.
Sure.
He sometimes lives in LA. He sometimes lives in Amsterdam.
Right.
He sometimes lives in Whitefish.
Yes.
That's all I got to say. Multiple choice. Multiple choice.
Oh, I think I saw it.
Maybe put a poll out, Phil. We can guess.
So, okay, I'll put a poll out. So yeah, back to the excavator. So with the excavator, do you talk to it?
Does she have a name?
Does she have a name?
No name. No, I don't talk to it. I talk to myself a lot when
I don't mean, are you talking to it out loud? I mean, are you so connected? You're like, is it a part of you or is it a separate entity, the excavator?
I finally found the video. Sorry, not avoiding your question, but do I share the screen and then play this, or?
Yeah, you share the screen and then it'll give you the choice of which thing, and then you click on the video. And once it comes up, we'll see it.
Phil, when you're talking about being one with the equipment, are you kind of thinking like Avatar?
It is pretty. Now you have control there, Auger, and you can expand. Yeah, it may not. Oh, it did. Awesome. Now you probably turn up the volume a little bit.
So we're here today to talk about brand loyalty. And we're going to use
radio voice.
Here we are talking with Eamon. So Eamon, what kind of snowmobiles do you like?
First scooting. That's right.
How old were you when you started riding snowmobiles? Were you 2?
Yeah.
Or were you 3? Just turned 3.
Oh my God, he's so little.
And Eamon, you've ridden both Polaris and Skidoo all that time?
Yeah.
And so you really don't care which kind of snowmobile you get on, do you? Just as long as you're snowmobiling. All right. So if we want to develop more brand loyalty, we should do stuff like we're going to talk with this young woman and get her on her first day. Now, Sophia, have you ridden snowmobiles much yet? I'm sorry, what? So here we have a youngster, 3 days old, and it's time to instill brand loyalty by taking her for a ride on a skidoo. All right. So, Eamon, you'll run the camera while I take your sister for a ride? Yeah. All right.
The one pull was so good.
So good. The editing's amazing too.
Look at the. Look at that one. The sound.
So good. It's got the disclaimer.
The compound.
Now,
Oh,
Eamon, what kind of snowmobiles do you like? What kind of snowmobiles do you like?
my God, look how little he is, Auger.
Skidoo Polaris. I love that.
And how long have you been riding snowmobiles? And you've ridden both Polaris and Skidoo all that time?
Yeah.
And it's just a pretend ride. We'll edit that out. All right, baby. Come on in.
Look at how small she is. That's pretty good.
The thing I dislike about the old, what do you call this? iMovie, was that it did not allow you, now you can separate the sound from the video. And so you can overlap one or the other. And back in the day, you couldn't, it all cut. So that was a disappointment.
Was that from an iPhone 1?
That was way pre-iPhone. That
was a Droid.
Palm Trio.
No, that was like what the hell did I shoot it on?
A Kyocera?
No, it was shot on like it actually had cassette tape.
Oh.
And then, but it was digital, and then I would plug it into it wasn't even an iMac. What the fuck was I using?
You want to tell Sam while we're on this track about your CD collection?
My CD collection.
Yeah.
What about it?
How many CDs do you have of music?
Quite a few. The ball buster is, if everything fell apart, I don't know how I would ever listen to it again because I have no working CD players.
You remember people that used to collect CDs and VHSs, Sam?
Yeah.
Ask Auger how many CDs.
No. Do you remember my 6-disc changer? Oh, he muted it.
Yep. He's on mute.
I had
I
don't know if you ever remember any of the players that had a 6-disc changer. So you had this little cartridge that you could load 6
you
discs.
Throw it in and then rotate them up.
Yeah, but you had to
this one didn't rotate it, right? So it was like 6 shells that would slot out and drop into the player.
Yeah.
I had 30 of those cartridges, so I kept, and they were all labeled. And I had a 6-disc changer in the house and in the car. So
you could just take one to go.
Exactly. So I had Rush, volumes 1, 2, and 3 for 18 Rush albums, etc.
And so where are they now? The albums, the discs.
The CDs are all in storage somewhere, and I don't know where that is because it could be either the 2 storage containers, it could be the 2-bay garage up there, it could be the attic of the 4-bay garage over here, or it could be the basement here.
Wow.
Or the attic here. I don't know. I lose
Sounds
track.
like you got a lot of space to store shit.
I have pickers or whatever they call those things. The hoarder shows, they'd have some fun with me.
You should definitely be on that.
Yeah. like a mini celebrity. I didn't realize you're interviewing a celebrity today as our guest.
Yeah. He has his own clothing line, Cook's Equipment. So have you ever thought about spending more time on an excavator, not working in insurance? I mean, I know it's a sexy industry, but have you ever thought about just walking away from it?
Absolutely. So I thought about excavating for a long time because I really do love that machine. But since I've been up in the air with the boom, I don't think I'm meant to be on the ground.
So you're more into the boom than the excavator.
And here's a great example. So my brother Michael, he lives down in Northford. He moved in with his now wife on White Hollow. And he says, how much you think it's going to cost to take down 3 trees? One's a willow and 2 others. I said, I have no idea. I can't even guess. He goes, just take a guess. I said $1,000.
Take them down plus the stumps?
No stump grind.
Just take them down 700.
Just take them down, but they're like, they're over buildings or near buildings. So
over buildings.
not just dropping.
200.
$2,500.
Yeah.
I said, are you shitting me? I said, why don't you want to just borrow the boom truck? And he says, Jan won't let him. So then I went and I did a job over here, the whole thing. And I took pictures and I said, Michael, this is probably $1,500 worth of work I did today. He goes, tell Jan that. So I threw it online and showed it to him. But with that as like in my head, as, are you fucking kidding me? Like what I did this afternoon, just for my personal use, was like $1,000 worth of work.
Yeah.
If I drove down the road and did it for somebody else. And it's like, and I enjoyed it. It was like $1,000 entertainment it's probably more like 6 lap dances, whatever that comes out to these days.
Wouldn't it be ironic?
Well, it depends on what state or country. I've heard.
That's what the internet tells me.
Danielle, you got to come over here and say hello to Augur. He's on the screen right now.
Okay.
Feels like we're in the same room.
I'm not presentable for videos.
Okay, she's not presentable, she said. Would it be ironic, Augur, if everyone in the world knew, like, doing that business, you would make a lot of money, but the one question they had was around insurance? Is that ironic?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but that's seriously, no doubt that's a huge part of why that costs so much. Nice. Wait, what does it say? 25 years ago. Yes, exactly. And I just wonder, is it properly accounted for in the CPI?
Good question.
I don't know. We'll have to ask an accountant for scores.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. I think they overstate inflation when you can get such deals. And it's like a friggin' dance at a stage. What has it gone from, $1 to $2? I mean, maybe.
Yeah. So
All I think about when I think of all of that is somebody's bachelor party in Montreal and yelling at people. That's all I gotta say.
he was so mad.
That's
That was a good
all I
trip.
gotta say.
The go-karts were pretty fun. Remember that one guy that brought gloves?
Had a heart attack?
He's having a
Warm up?
baby. He's having a baby right now.
Really?
You remember?
Remember he showed up to go-karting in a Land's End polo,
Yeah.
Brooks Brother khaki shorts,
Gloves,
boat shoes, gloves.
racing gloves.
I drive Porsches for a living on the weekends, and then overheated K1 Sports Montreal.
The Montreal weather got to him. He was the one that in between the first time we raced and the second time, he was laying on the ground with his feet up. He thought he was
yeah. No shit. Do you guys still get emails from K1? I get like once a month. I get an email to go riding in go-karting in Montreal.
Oh, wow. They must have thought you had promise.
I think so.
You did jump. In the first one, you came in 7th. The second one, I think you came in, what, 3rd behind Horn?
I don't know if you're supposed to talk about names like that, Phil.
Oh, sorry. So you're loving this cherry picker boom. What? You used to do it how? In the excavator before? You would go in the bucket?
Yes. I would climb up.
Okay, that's what you climb up the arm to the bucket?
I climb up the arm, like I'd extend it as high as it would go. I'd climb up, and then I'd pull the chainsaw up with a rope, and I'd stand on the extended bucket. It was a little more, it was a little less safe. I will say it that way.
So, you know, I'm just wondering, like, I don't know much about insurance, but what's the insurance policy around something like that?
Accidental death or dismemberment? Is that what you mean? Because I'm doing it on my own property, so there's no liability, right?
No, as a business. What if you run it as a business?
Yeah, what if that was your business model, but you were just like, I'm going to walk up here? You know, kind of like in Hawaii, how they climb coconut trees?
Yes, it was very similar. I don't know how well those guys.
Now, what do you use for your, like, corn maze? Is that on the existing property or a different property?
I don't have a corn maze.
Do you just drive by one and then look at it?
That's right. And it's funny because I drove by it tonight and I hadn't been out on that road in a while because I haven't been commuting to work. And I was like, shit, this is a year's going to go by with no corn maze. They put it in, and I wonder if they'll even be able to have people come to it. It'll
So
be
they
interesting.
have the corn in, how high is the corn? Neck high?
No, knee high by July is what they've got going on.
Okay, so it's knee
But
high.
they've sprayed in the pattern, so the pattern's there, and they placed
Yeah.
the bridge.
Yeah.
So I will take a ride up there probably next week or the week after, and I'll climb up the bridge early in the morning and see if I can tell what the pattern is. It probably just says COVID-19.
And that's permanent? The place we climb up to oversee it, it's permanent? Or they?
Yeah, they have two bridges in the maze.
Yeah.
They're like, they just roll them out there with a big forklift and drop them in place in the maze.
So they have them out right now?
Yeah, so they place them early on before they're like, so they won't crush everything.
So it sounds like it'll happen. Do they make money off it?
Oh yeah, but they donate it. I don't know what percentage they donate, but they have it in their store. I think they've done like 20,000, 18 to 25 is what they annually
That's cool.
are able to give to charity based on this thing. Yeah.
That'd be crazy if the corn maze doesn't happen. It's one of the most important events in my life. I've never even been to it.
Oh, I used the excavator in the ALS Ice Buck Challenge 6 years ago.
Oh yeah, let's see that. That's a good one.
I forgot about that. Oh, I have to share before I do that.
Do you remember that, Sam? The Ice Bucket Challenge?
Yeah. Did you do it?
No, I couldn't top this one right here.
Well, thanks to Chris Evans and Rob Snedeker for me under the ALS challenge.
Look at those LL Bean teams. They're ready to go.
Certainly my donation check will be going in the mail shortly. But give it a whirl anyway.
Go.
Yeah. My pocket wasn't ready. I needed to mechanic help. Right now, pass this on. Throw the challenge out to Danielle.
Who's driving the excavator?
Michael.
And how about down south to Joe D'Antonio? 24 hours, guys. Good luck.
And that's why the Vishla was there.
Oh, got it. Okay.
That's Michael's Vishla.
Got it. iPhone for that one, huh? That was a good one.
2 iPhones, right? So Sophie was the one laughing, and then I had as a backup, I think Frankie was the one where then you could see Sophie.
So you started out with kind of like a brush hog and what was that tractor? The single wheel in the front, 2 in the back, the scraper one? The
C.
C.
Super C. Yep.
So you started out on the ground with a tractor pushing shit. Then you worked your way up to the excavator. And now you're in the clouds.
Yes.
You know where he's heading, Sam, right?
Where?
He started out in the gutter, then he came up. Now he's in space. He's on his way. Space
I
excavation.
like it.
Some of these look good, Sam. Are you seeing them? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was trying to switch over though. There we go. Because
Farewell Pumpkins.
yeah. Did I imagine Sam hadn't seen this one.
Never been inside this YouTube channel. I think the music here is good.
So good. It's like out of a movie. So good.
That was amazing.
Do you remember? So you had Sturgis on the list.
Yeah.
This is fucking Sturgis. This was right around when I turned 10,000 miles. This is Wyoming, I believe, still.
Oh yeah, this is a beautiful video. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming. We were on a cruise on a nice bike ride, and
interrupted by the sound of 3 motorcycles.
you gotta turn that up and rewind. Sam, did you hear that?
How do I rewind this shit?
Yeah, like, this is good. Yeah, turn it up a little bit. I want to hear it.
How do I turn it up? I think I'm maxed out on volume.
Oh, okay, I'll turn mine up then.
You hear the birds chirping. Peacefulness of the gorgeous Wyoming countryside. Interrupted by the sound of 3 motorcycles.
Does Sam realize that's your voice? Where's Frank?
That was Frank. Joe. Scully.
Do you guys have Frank drive first because he's the slowest, so you can kind of just have him do pace?
There was one other guy on this trip who was a little bit slower. He never made it.
He was considerably slower, although I would say he was the fastest through the gravel.
That's pretty good.
He won the race to the hospital.
Yes, exactly. That was
How's that even possible?
I don't know what he did. Target fixated or something. He
I
fucked
don't
up.
know. Yeah, I can't remember what happened. He had a big bike, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was it?
Ron was his name, I believe. It was a friend of Joe. It was a guy who works for Joe Gindra.
How do you get the boom truck into like the hills and off the trail?
Very, very carefully, because once it's stuck, it's a fish.
Yeah,
I'm stepping outside for a quick second.
but it can't go places that you can go.
Did you say he's going outside during the podcast? Did he just say he's going outside?
What is he going outside for?
I think he just said he was going outside.
He probably just wants us to look at his chair. Hogger and LLB. He has brand loyalty where like it doesn't matter what the company's producing, he just loves it.
Kind of like Buck Mason and our good friends who made a mask.
Great company. You guys going to when are you guys going to Palm Springs, or what's your next trip?
Maybe in 2 weeks.
La Quinta?
I think so. With June and Natalie and Ellis.
What
about you?
Not sure.
Maybe an August trip?
Ooh.
Or it's a little chillier then.
It actually does cool down a little bit.
I was thinking,
So-
you know, it'd be fun as a family, both families, is at like 1 p.m,
Yes.
walk from the house all the way
To a tire shop.
to the tram and
Yes.
just take it up.
Into the snow.
Yeah.
So with the boom truck, are you generally just doing roads, like in trails? You're just doing stuff on the side. Your long-term goal is to thin out your whole entire property, right?
Right. No, it's got a winch on the front. So if that's not working right now, I'll get that fixed, and then I should be able to go anywhere.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Now,
It's
when you
basically
mean thinning out the property, are you trying to get rid of a bunch of trees so you can just use more of your 30 acres, or
no,
is it blocking your
aesthetic.
view?
Yes, I want to be able to like see through the forest. So the low limbs is what I dislike. I like trees to be tall, but with
Like the
Scully,
wall.
do you remember like the elms around Baker Tower? They're all dead now and they've taken them out, but back in the day, right? It was just like beautiful 50 feet before you see a branch
Yeah.
and
That's
then
really
a
cool.
gorgeous crown. That's to me the aesthetic of a tree. Unless it's a single tree in the middle of a field, then I like it all the way down to the base.
You
And
know what you
actually,
should do?
Vassar has a gorgeous London plane tree of that style. I wonder if I can pull that up. Go on.
So, you know, in places like LA, we have trees like that are
Palm tree.
natural.
Yes.
They're called palm trees.
They do not
Yeah.
grow in southern New England, unfortunately.
You know what? I'm sure you can find one that you could mutate with something else in a lab, and then it'll grow.
That's a good idea.
That sounds like another project.
I don't know how you mutate or mate plants or trees, but they do it. So
They do it all the time. Grafting is a primary means by which they do that. So in the Apple business, there was a very interesting article in the New Yorker some years ago that spoke about how they derive all these varietals by grafting various trees on others. So what's your favorite apple? Like,
Are you
back-
asking us?
yeah. What's your favorite apple?
Oh, I thought you were telling a story, and I was confused.
Green apple.
I like a Fiji apple.
Yeah, so Fiji's a very, very nice one. You ever have a Honey Crisp? That's like a newer varietal. Very, very tasty. But these are the things that they're out there developing.
Now, were they doing that to put them into alcohol? Because you know they have those new like apple ciders, or is it because people wanted new age flavors of apples?
New age flavors. It's like new Coke, old Coke, but they're like Honey Crisp. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah.
No, if you think about it, back in the day, it was like whatever Macintosh, Cortland, and a Golden Delicious and a Red Delicious. Those are like the four things.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, those are the only apples I ever knew. And now it's like apples galore.
Oh, have you heard about grapes? Cotton candy grapes. Have you had them yet?
No way.
They're so good. But,
That's wild.
so within the boom trucks, there's like the telehandlers, the ones that are, you know, you're not in a truck with a truck body, you're kind of in the telehandler, you know, those. Your style is a truck that has a back to it. What's the difference there?
Are you talking about a trailer unit?
Yeah, there's some that you tow, and then
Yeah, so I thought about that, but at the end of the day, it's hard to get. They don't sell too many of those that have significant reach.
How high?
Like the ones I was seeing, I saw 30. There was a 40 and a 50, but it looks pretty questionable. When you get to the size of the 50, then you need a big truck to be able to tow it.
Yeah.
And my trucks for towing would be the Tundra. So I could have gotten just a 30-foot trailer style, but
You know, I would think you'd have a different truck than a Tundra.
a lot of people have that misconception of me.
Yes. A lot.
Oh,
I like
a
the.
lot of people.
He just wants to challenge himself by having an inferior truck.
Yeah.
I like the size of it's a 2006. It's pre when they went big. So it's still a little bit bigger than like a Canyon or a Colorado. And it's the size for me.
Now, if you
I
had
know somebody has a Colorado.
what?
Do you know somebody that has a Colorado?
I do. If you were a Colorado driver, would you have your fog lights sort of like this, or would you have them pointed kind of like which way, Sam? Like up and back to the sky?
Maybe looking at the stars.
Just tell Auger that story.
So we were at a Super Bowl party at my house. So I guess we weren't at a Super Bowl party. We were at a Super Bowl party at my house. And one of our friends decided they wanted to get a new truck. So the first thing they did was, I'm going to get a new truck. And he sent us some links to Phil and I to ask us our opinion. And then we barraged him with, like, that's not a truck. You should get these trucks. Mind you, don't think there was a dollar value that really mattered on the truck. No budget. But he luckily got a Ford Raptor first that didn't fit in his garage.
For real.
Yep.
That is hysterical.
Drove it home wouldn't fit.
So then he had to go
Height?
smaller.
The height wouldn't fit?
Girth.
Yep. So didn't fit, traded it back in, and instead of going like, maybe I'll just get an F-150, you know, the, what's the ranch one or whatever, like the nice one.
King Ranch.
Yeah, King.
Yeah, went to Chevy down the street. Do you think he got it at the Cerritos Auto Square? Because, like, how close are these things? So got a Chevy Colorado, but got it tricked out in regards to fog lights and maybe a grill. Comes over to the house. My buddy who's had
two grills, one cup?
Yes, definitely. Grills on both sides.
Yes.
Not a good parallel parker. My buddy who's had 4 Raptors who like takes them off-roading. So this friend of ours shows up with his truck and is like, look at how great this thing is. And the guy makes a comment. He goes, do you think he knows his lights are pointing up?
That's just hysterical.
Really good.
Did it have a tow package, I think is the key question.
Oh, zero chance.
Not good for the back axle.
Yeah, exactly.
The tow hitch was the reason why it didn't fit in the garage. That one tow hitch.
So when you're operating and you're trimming your trees, it's you trimming, someone down below moving stuff away?
No.
Okay.
It's a solo gig.
So what are you doing? You're trimming it and taking it down? And then what's happening
No,
now?
just drop it all.
Just drop it all?
Yeah. But that's where, like, the only, what would you call it? It's like the technique that you need to have is being aware of what's below you.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's like, oh, there's this long limb and I want it gone, but I don't just cut right at the trunk. I have to go out, cut here, but like pivot it. Do you know what I mean? So I like notch it and then slowly do this so it folds.
Yes.
Then cut it off so it drops straight down. That's like the skill part.
So how long does it take once you get out there to figure out what you're going to cut, what angle you're going to cut? Or you start sawing and then you're
so no, don't start. But when you become one with the job,
yes,
it's more intuition, right?
Yeah.
Just you're moving.
Yeah. Wow. Sounds like a pretty good workout when you're up there.
Well, the ball buster, and that's where I went and got a second saw. Because the first time I used it,
What kind of saw is there? Steel?
I did a poplar over here. Husqvarna, and I had my larger Husqvarna. It's like I think it's a 435 XP. And I was dead tired at the end. I could only do the one tree. So I went down the street the next day and to Durham Power Equipment and said, I need a ladder saw. And I had never heard of.
Which shirt did you wear in?
Yeah, good question. That was the IH shirt for that.
They knew when you came in the door you meant business.
Uh, what did he call it? It has a name, top something. So instead of on a regular chainsaw, the balance point is in front of your hand
Yeah.
so that you can like let the weight go through the
Lean into it.
what
Yeah.
you're cutting. This one, it's like centered. And it's like they call it a top grab.
It doesn't
So I
cut
can actually
cut straight.
no, it's you could use one hand at certain times. It's a much smaller saw. And so like I thank the guy for that recommendation because for this sort of tree work, it's like that's what I'm using. Unless it's a large limb, because some of these things are big, and then I have the other saw with me, but I just use it very sparingly. It is a workout regardless, but
Yeah. Are you strapped in?
I also use hand clippers,
Okay.
right? So some of it is like get some small things out of the way so you can get into the trunk and then start cutting.
And are you strapped in?
No, you're supposed to, but
The
I don't.
chainsaw strapped on?
No.
Wow. That's way up there.
The one, if I was gonna do an upgrade, I think what I would do is, if you ever see guys working like actual like crews that are doing this work on the side of the road, they're not using a chainsaw, a gas chainsaw. They're using hydraulically run chainsaw extensions. They have plug-in tools, and that's what I would upgrade to is getting the plug-in tools to plug into the unit. Because then it's like there's no more weight, right? The hydraulics are doing all of it, so, and they have longer ones. That would be the next stage.
Yeah. Okay. Next iteration. Maybe you need two for when Sam comes there.
Probably.
Guys weekend.
I know I need a bigger one, that's for sure. The 60-footer, the first tree I went to do, I was like, oh, I want to cut that limb. I'm like, oh, I'm out of length. I got nothing left.
That's when you just ditch,
onto the edge,
jump,
bucket.
or jump on the tree and climb it. I've seen that on TV.
I did. I stepped out of the bucket onto a limb pretty high up the other day, but I didn't climb further. I mean, I went a little bit just to reach the other side, but the guys who climb super high are little.
Why did you have to get on that limb? To make a cut?
To make a cut that it just saved me having to like pull all the way back to come around the trunk to come in from the other side.
Yeah.
I was like, for that one little thing, I could just step through.
So you stepped out how high up?
It was close to full extension, so probably, but it wasn't, maybe 55 feet.
And then below you, there's no more limbs. You've cut them all, right?
There was nothing below me.
So you just fall down?
Yes.
But you would land on all the limbs.
I cut, yeah. So I'd probably be perforated.
But, okay. But it would be a soft perforation.
Or I would land, or I'd land on the truck itself. So those are my feet. That's the limb, and that's the truck.
Oh, now I see it. You see it, Sam?
Yeah. Are those LL Bean shoes?
Yes. Chippewa shoes with an LL Bean label.
LL Bean OEM. OEM. They outsourced it.
Yes, exactly.
LL Bean. Wow. Sam knows his companies. So candles? You still into the whole candle craze?
And so here you can see relative to the peak of the house, the height.
That's crazy.
That's fun.
Things are opening up from when you were last here, Scully.
Have you ever had anyone up with you?
Yeah, I took Sophia up.
It's high.
We didn't go all the way, but we went pretty high.
Wow.
And then I put Jess went up in it the other day.
All the way up.
I ran it from the ground and lifted her up in it.
And then walked away.
Yeah, exactly.
So, quick question for you. Phil keeps bringing up candles.
Augur loves candles. Mm-hmm.
This is when I raised Jess up in the boom. So maybe I got her to, that's probably 45 feet.
Pretty good. I mean, that's like a full, like, out here, Southern California Edison would have that truck. Auger, just on his yard.
So have you sold any equipment? What do you have so far right now for equipment at the compound?
Oh,
How many excavators?
2.
Okay. How many
We
back?
would need 2 more for us to have a quorum to go out there for
Yeah,
a
exactly.
men's retreat.
How many backhoes right now?
Well, we have a backhoe. We have the International 574 tractor. That's all the equipment.
No, the boom truck.
So then trucks are different, right? So
Okay.
we got
Okay.
the Freightliner 80 with the 60-foot boom, all tech. So that's that. And then I got a International 4900 GT 466 dump truck.
Is that running?
That's the running one. The Mac I won't count because that's not.
Not counting that. Okay.
And
So
then
these are only ones that run.
yeah, and then the Chevy 3500 with the 9.5 foot V plow for
Yeah.
snow removal. That covers it.
Side by side.
Yeah, so that's more recreational, right? I was only doing work.
Okay. Right.
Side by side, I need to do a fuel pump on, so that's not running right now. So other reason I don't.
You don't have a payloader anywhere?
No, a front load. I'm thinking a small front loader would be a nice addition, and then I would probably sell the backhoe.
Okay. So not a small helicopter.
Not at this stage.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Not too bad. We didn't go over snowmobiles though. That's recreation.
Right.
Yeah.
We did not go over recreational.
Yeah, Auger loves candles. You want to tell somebody about your obsession with candles?
It's tamped down, I would say, these days. But like for the summer, because my living room has a large stone fireplace. In the summer, when I clean it all out, I put in a 8 candle holder, and that's nice. So light that up and it throws some good light in the room. Still get that ambiance, right?
Are you allowed to talk about how many candles you had in your dorm room and what the
It
policy?
was. Do you remember the count accurately? I think it was 19.
There was a policy at the school though. What was the policy? You'd get fined for
No candles. 0 candles.
an Auger had
At Dartmouth, no candles.
No candles.
Now, did you donate enough after graduating that they forgave you?
No, definitely not. Especially given that, one, they got rid of, we used to have on the board of trustees, alumni nominated trustees, so you could actually have an influence on it. And that dates back to like the 1800s. They had some financial issues. And so some donors ponied up, but they said, this is why, or this is the deal. You're going to allow us to have these 3 seats. They got rid of that. So anytime the kids call, because they always have the students doing it, call, I said, no, you guys obviously don't care about our opinion, so fuck you, you don't need my money. Then they took the fucking weather vane down 2 weeks ago. Now it's like, forget it. And then I just heard they canceled the fall sports. So as I already said, I believe any school that cancels fall sports on the basis of fucking COVID-19 should lose accreditation for science and math because they clearly don't understand either. So, done.
So candles help you relax,
Yes.
or you just like?
Maybe we should get more candles like your CD collection.
Maybe so.
Candles are
Now,
tough.
are your candles from Bed Bath & Beyond or Land's End?
Yankee
What was the name of
Yankee,
where the
Yankee,
LLB
Doodle
store
candle?
is now in the Powerhouse Mall in West Lebanon?
Yeah,
It used to be a wood store. Do you remember that place?
yeah,
Up at the top of the stairs?
yeah.
Can't think of the name of it. I have a very nice candle from there. No, they're from all over. I have candlesticks from Africa. 2 of them are from Africa.
Oh, you got those in Uganda?
I didn't get them in Uganda. My sister Maggie had gotten them
Oh, that's good.
in Lesotho or South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're from all over. I'm looking at a couple of.
Where do you think snowmobiles are going? You heard about this whole Polaris thing?
No.
Side by sides? They've never seen demand like it ever.
Oh, given what's going on, totally makes sense.
Yeah. So where do you think
And
where do you think sleds are going this winter going to be?
up in Vermont, I was just reading this in Motorcyclist from the American Motorcycle Association. Some town in Vermont had passed an ordinance allowing ATVs and side-by-sides on their streets, so like to connect to trails and stuff. But then somebody was suing because they were annoyed by it. But in New Hampshire, I think they already have allowed that because they have started several years ago converting some of the snowmobile trails, or then in the summer, ATV, UTV trails as well. So like Scott Wiles Jr. has been up there. I've seen photos. I haven't done it yet myself, but I would like to go do
Are you
that.
going to get a new side by side?
I want to get a new one yet.
What are you thinking about there? The Honda.
The Honda Pioneer with where the rear dump body converts into seats.
Yeah.
That's the one that I want. The family edition. You know?
That's a 1,000.
It's 1,000. Yeah.
That's a nice machine. Those things
Yeah.
are great, especially on your property, as long as you're not the passenger.
Maybe.
What
Now,
else?
when you're saying a side by side, are you going to get like one of those slingshots?
No.
I could see Hogger in a slingshot. Yeah.
Yep. I could see that.
You try and do it on 2 wheels, flip it up.
This is what we're talking about with side by side.
I think I found a picture of Auger on his side by side.
Oh, nice. Yep. So I have one of those, but that's and I could show you that. But this is what we mean by side by side. Oh, that was quick.
Is that like a gator? What is that?
So this is a Yamaha brand. So this is a Rhino, but yes, similar to a
Okay.
Gator.
What year was that Rhino?
That was I think it's a 2007. I don't know. It's getting a little long in the tooth. I definitely need a different one.
Yeah, it might be time.
It's fucking. I thought I had a sidecar thing.
Now, Auger, do you have an RV on your property?
No,
Have you ever had an RV on your property?
I've never had an RV on my property.
Are you planning on getting one? Or maybe a tiny home area where multiple tiny homes can crash.
I don't understand the question.
So I'll go to Amazon real fast and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So what we're thinking is, what if this is another business opportunity for you, but you could do a tiny home setup at the house.
Oh, nice.
This one in particular is too big for Scully. He wants a little bit smaller square footage. That's too much space.
Yeah.
But I mean, if there's ever a time to use some of your acreage once you clear the trees, not all the trees, just below a certain foot level,
Yeah, exactly.
you could throw these there.
Zoning is one thing that I would face a challenge with.
You know, I know some people that work in politics in that region. I know I don't want to get political, but zoning laws can change. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's all we're saying. That's it.
So far, I'm just an alternate on Planning and Zoning Commission, so I'm not always seated for votes. But yes, could work on that. No, I do like that idea. I think there's a lot to be said for that. Tiny house, huge garage.
Ooh. Phil doesn't want that. Phil just wants tiny home, no garage on a one-way street. So like both sides of the rims get messed up and occasionally get hit by cars. That's what he's looking for.
It
That's what
happens.
he's looking for.
There's a lot to be said for that tiny home movement. But then it's like this Irish girl I was seeing at one point, she had sent an article and it was about this person like, oh, no stuff, no belongings. But they were giving their like things that it was be the equivalent of me giving Scully one of these shirts because it's like, oh, well, we have a memory. And I'm like, so you buy into memories, you just want somebody else to store your memories for you. Like, right? So I have no stuff.
Think about it.
Yeah, it made no sense to me.
I need you to hold this T-shirt for me until I buy a bigger home. That's what that is.
So your next purchase is a payloader. Do you have a dozer? You have a dozer.
That dozer is what needs to be next.
Okay.
That's the major. That's the major hole in the.
In the arsenal.
Yes.
Are you going to knock down houses? Do you want to just have one house?
No.
What if, though, for the guys' weekend, we Thursday build a home like Habitat to Humanity? You know, you do the quick, and then on Saturday we bulldoze it down. That would be fun.
Like Burning Man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That would be very.
Burning Man that we would be the new Burning Man that didn't take government loans.
That's good. It was a big dollar amount too. They took, right?
Didn't look it up.
Yeah, I think it was a big one.
They really did take loans.
Yeah, but some people got money because they were like automatically enrolled in the program.
That seems questionable. That sounds like Phil after he donated to Burning Man's foundation.
Some of them, the banks did it without the knowledge. So it'll be interesting to see what the compound looks in 5-10 years from now.
I agree.
And what about the road? You still working on clearing that road out? Turning that road into an access road or whatever?
No, I have not worked on that in a while. That's still up here. The plans are strong.
Okay. Okay, cool. What else did you want to talk about, Sam?
What was on your list? You had
RV craze. You buy it or don't buy it?
I do buy it. Jess and I went out to dinner a week ago yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, look at that RV in the parking lot up in Middletown, Chevy with a nice RV camper style thing on the back."
Yeah, those are cool.
It was a woman. So seated at the same restaurant out on the patio was a woman by herself. She's who went and got in that. I was like, I wonder if she's like, is she just not living anywhere anymore? Is she like so fed up with COVID, she's just driving around in this thing?
I have a buddy that he got a Sprinter van. That's all he's doing.
Yeah,
Rented his house, driving a Sprinter van around.
that's
Surfing,
awesome.
hanging out.
It's a different type of person, in these products now. I think it's people that just want to be out of cities.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're just,
Exactly.
Well, in other parts of the world, I won't call it the RV, but the living out of a van. I mean, when we were in New Zealand last year, they were everywhere.
Yes.
They're all, yeah, you have to make certain stops, but you could literally park at the side of the road, sleep there for the night, hike, whatever. In the morning, besides showers and bathrooms, they had everything. They had a little like kitchenette.
Totally.
That's nice. Yeah, it sounds good, especially if you're trapped in like in LA or San Francisco or something.
What did they call them in New Zealand? Because in Britain they have a term for it, and I can't think of it. Oh. They don't call them RVs. They call them something else.
Camper van.
Huh.
think it's camper van. I'm looking on the New Zealand TripAdvisor.
Caravan is what they call it in the UK, I believe.
This guy, this one article, for $7,500, they rented this thing, and it was for 43 days in New Zealand.
That's
It's
insane.
like $150 a day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Very nice.